Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks, I needed that. I'm Carmon Colangelo, the Ralph J. Nagel Dean of the Sam Fox School. It's truly a pleasure to welcome you to the Sam Fox School this afternoon here in St. Louis, and to welcome our virtual guests who are joining us across the country and literally around the world. Ohio in Japan, I didn't say that very well. Ohio in Japan and Buonasera in Italy, because we have guests in both countries, so I'll need to improve my Japanese. Thank you for being part of the installation of Aki Ishida as a Sam and Marilyn Fox professor. An installation is a very special and momentous occasion. Celebrating an endowed professorship recognizes one of the university's most valuable resources, our faculty. As I've often said, the most important thing we do as a school is hire and retain the faculty, whose expertise drives our research and teaching, and whose leadership propels us forward. Endowed professorships are one of the best tools for recruiting and retaining outstanding scholars, and they are the highest honor we can bestow on our faculty. This afternoon, we have an incredibly special opportunity. We get to honor the career and leadership of our esteemed colleague, Professor Aki Ishida, while also celebrating the generosity and vision of Sam and Marilyn Fox. As we begin, I'd like to recognize a member of Aki's family who are here today, her mother, Noriko, her brother, Tetsunori, and her sister, Mio. If they could put their hands up or stand as they prefer to be recognized. Yes. I would also like to recognize and welcome Chancellor Andrew Martin, now in his 6th year, whose leadership continues to distinguish Washington University. And it's a pleasure to welcome our new provost, Mark West, who has hit the ground running and is off to a great start at WashU. It's also a special honor to welcome Jeff Fox, the eldest son of the late Sam and Marilyn Fox, and Jeff's wife, Loto Fox, who's joining us here in the front row. Jeff and Loto, if you could stand as well. As we all know, Sam and Marilyn were extraordinary benefactors, and their legacies shaped so many aspects of our school. Jeff continues that legacy with generosity and friendship, and we are deeply grateful to you. Chancellor Martin will share more about the Fox family story shortly. Tonight marks the second time we've had the opportunity to bestow the Sam and Marilyn Fox professorship. The inaugural holder was Heather Woofter, installed in 2018, who is now Dean of Architecture at the University of Texas at Austin. Of the many named professorships in the Sam Fox School, this one is especially meaningful. As we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Sam Fox School, it feels especially fitting to honor the vision and impact of Sam and Marilyn Fox. At this time, I'm pleased to invite Chancellor Andrew Martin to the stage to honor the Fox family.
Thank you very much, Carmen. It is a real pleasure to be with all of you here today. Today, we celebrate not only Professor Aki Ishida's remarkable career, but also the extraordinary legacy of Sam and Marilyn Fox, which has shaped WashU for decades and which continues to transform lives through the generosity of their children. Sam Fox is a terrific example of the promise of higher education. Born to Ukrainian Jewish immigrants and raised in small-town Missouri, Sam came to WashU, and in his words, the whole world came alive. What a profound feeling that it must have been for Sam, as it inspired him to pay it forward for generations of students just like him. After earning his business degree in 1951, Sam built the enormously successful Harbor Group, but his contributions extended far beyond his business achievements. He is counted among our most dedicated alumni, having served on our Board of Trustees for more than 30 years, including a term as vice chair. Alongside him was Marilyn, raised just north of our campus in the Del Mar Loop, who devoted much of her life to civic leadership and improving lives for St. Louisans. Together, Sam and Marilyn exemplified philanthropic leadership, supporting hundreds of organizations while raising 5 children who carried forward their values of service and generosity. At WashU, the Fox family's charitable spirit can be felt across the entire university through scholarships in the Olin Business School, endowed professorships in the School of Medicine, and through the support of countless students and faculty on both campuses. Most visibly, they enabled the creation of the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts in 2006, which brought together our renowned programs in art, architecture, and design, as well as the stunning Kemper Art Museum, one of our city's true treasures. Although they were generous with their riches, the Foxes were equally giving of their time. Sam chaired our campaign for Washington University from 1998 to 2004, and later co-chaired the leadership phase of the Leading Together campaign, which all told raised about $5 billion and elevated WashU's status as one of the finest universities in the nation. Sam and Marilyn were committed to empowering others through education and through the arts, and it's these values that we celebrate today. We are so grateful for their vision of excellence, for their giving hearts, and for understanding the importance of ensuring that outstanding professors like Aki Ishida have the resources to push the boundaries of their field and to broaden the horizons of our next generation of leaders. While we deeply miss Sam and Marilyn, both who passed away in 2024, we are grateful they shared their values with their children. I am honored that their eldest son, Jeff, and his wife, Lota, are here with us today. Jeff and Lota are also deeply committed to this university and to St. Louis. Jeff currently serves on our Board of Trustees. At this time, I would like to invite you, Jeff and Lota, if you'd like to join him, onto the stage to present the shadow box to you as a memento of this celebration this afternoon. Right here? Okay. All right. So Jeff, Lota, it is my honor to present this shadow box to you. The medallion reads, the Sam and Marilyn Fox Professor, Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, in grateful appreciation presented to the Fox family on behalf of Sam and Marilyn Fox, September 25th, 2025. Jeff, Lota, thank you. Podium's yours. Hey, wait, hold on a second. You all in the back, come on down. We've got some seats right up here. Unless you want to stand the whole time, but please, feel free.
I got about a 25-minute speech, so you might want to take your seat. Thank you, Chancellor Martin, for those really kind words about my parents and my family. It's really it's an honor to be able to represent them here and to carry on traditions at Washington University, and as you said, which has been very important to my whole family. You know, our parents had a strong connection to WashU in so many different ways and for most of their lives. And I'm personally so appreciative to be here in this incredible school named after my pop. He was proud of the Sam Fox School, not because it was named after him, but because of the incredible talent that resides here, both with the professors and the students. Most people thought of my dad as a businessman or a diplomat or both, but he actually had a deep connection to design, art, lighting, architecture. He and my mother, who also was passionate about the arts, loved Carmon. They really, really loved you. They always lit up whenever they saw you. and what you accomplished bringing the samfoxschool to life. They look forward to hearing about the incredible professors, students, and projects. And thank you, Carmon, for creating a legacy not just for our parents, but for our whole family. And we should give you a big round of applause. Our parents would be proud and overwhelmed to have Aki Ishida as the Sam and Marilyn Fox Professor. As I learned about your incredible career and talent, and particularly how you use light as a dynamic changing material, and it felt even more fitting to me and almost ironic because my dad had this thing with light. I mean, it was incredible. He could walk into a room and he'd always play with what he called the rheostat, lights up, lights down, lights off. He tried to find someone before there was ever someone that was a lighting designer. I don't think that didn't even start till '84, and I think I remember him doing it in the '60s. So it was when I heard that and when I read that about you, I thought, that was you just perfect for it. So thank you for that, and I'd just like to say, once again, welcome to St. Louis to you and your family, and welcome to the Sam and Marilyn Fox Professorship. And our family is honored to have you as our parents' professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. You know I love your parents so much, and often I think of myself as one of the family. I sometimes say that I say the name Sam Fox more than any living person. You call him Pop, so Sam and Marilyn. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I could be the older brother. Yeah, that comes with responsibility now, right? Well, now I have the pleasure of introducing Aki Ishida and all those great things. When we began the search for a new director for the College of Architecture and the Graduate School of Architecture and Urban Design back in 2023, seems like a long time ago, I knew we needed a very particular kind of leader, thoughtful, experienced, passionate, and forward-looking. Architecture education was in a time of real change. We were emerging from the pandemic, and while dealing with new technologies, shifting demands in higher education, and global challenges that shape how we design and how we teach. It is also clear to me that our next director needed to connect deeply with the legacy of our programs, while also being able to navigate between academia and practice. In other words, someone who would keep design traditions at the heart of our curriculum, but who would also help embrace new ways of thinking, making, and researching. We needed a leader who could help us act on the most exciting possibilities for the school. And for all those reasons, I feel incredibly fortunate to have Aki Ishida at the helm. Aki was born in Tokyo and raised both there and in Minnesota. She earned her Bachelor of Architecture degree at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and then went on to Columbia University, where she received a Master of Science in Advanced Architectural Design. Her professional career began with Raphael Vanoli Architects in New York, where she was part of a core design team for Princeton University's new stadium. She then spent 4 years with James Carpenter Design Associates, focusing on artistic and technical uses of glass, and later worked with IMP as a consultant on the Museum of Islamic Art in Doha, Qatar. In 2005, Aki co-founded Ishida Crandall in New York, and in 2008, she launched her own practice, Aki Ishida Architect. She's licensed in both New York and New Jersey, and she's a LEED accredited professional. Aki joined the Virginia Tech faculty in 2012. There she taught design courses, served as a senior fellow in the Institute for Creativity, Arts, and Technology, directed an interdisciplinary initiative called Intelligent Infrastructure for Human-Centered Communities, and also served as a faculty fellow in the provost office. Whew, that's a lot. Her research looks at the temporal and impermanent aspects of architecture, the way buildings continue to change and evolve throughout their lifespans. In 2020, she published her beautiful book, Blurred Transparencies in Contemporary Glass Architecture, Material Culture, and Technology. In 2022, she stepped into the role of interim associate director for both the School of Architecture and the School of Design at Virginia Tech, overseeing programs in industrial design, interior design, and landscape architecture as well. Her work has been widely recognized. In 2023, she received the Creative Achievement Award from the Association of Collegiate Schools of Architecture. Back in 2016, she was named one of Design Intelligence's 25 most admired educators. She also has received grants from the National Science Foundation, the Japan Foundation, and awards from the Bear Art Center and MacDowell. Aki continues to contribute nationally and internationally. She recently published in The Conversation on the history, use, and environmental impact of glass in architecture. And she also wrote about MoMA's exhibition on Tokyo's Nakagin Capsule Tower. Since arriving here at the Sam Fox School in the fall of 2024, Aki has already made a significant impact. She has focused on faculty development and made impressive hires and established a strong mentoring framework, ensuring her colleagues have the resources and support they need to thrive. It's hard to overstate Aki's accomplishments. She's a distinguished architect, an educator, a wise, careful administrator, and a deeply valued colleague. She is already a tireless advocate for the faculty and students, and I believe her leadership here will truly be transformational. And now it is my pleasure and pride to introduce the director of the College of Architecture and the Graduate School of Architecture and Urban Design and the Sam and Marilyn Fox Professor, Professor Aki Ishida. And at this time, I'd also like to invite Chancellor Martin back to present Aki with the medal.
Aki, we are honored that you've chosen to come here to St. Louis to join our faculty here at the Sam Fox School at Washington University. On behalf of all who are gathered here today and those who are watching online, it is my honor to present this medallion to you. On the obverse, it reads, the Sam and Marilyn Fox Professor, Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts. And on the reverse, Aki Ishida, September 25th, 2025. Aki, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Martin, Dean Colangelo, and the Fox family for this extraordinary honor. I missed my opportunity to meet Sam and Marilyn Fox in 2024, but I feel the impact of their generosity and leadership, as well as the responsibility to live up to this honor daily. I am delighted to celebrate this occasion with the Fox family. Although I have no regrets of becoming an architect and an academic, I have on occasion fantasized of being a diplomat, as my chemist father had for himself, so at least I can have an ambassador's name in my job title. I am grateful to my family, friends, former students and colleagues from different phases of my life for joining me on this occasion. Your presence means a great deal, and it's truly remarkable to see you all in one place. Also, I know that there are dear friends and former students in different time zones around the world, so here's my shout out to them. You have known me as a student, an intern, a junior architect, tenure track assistant professor, and I feel that I've become a director and an endowed professor rather suddenly. In fact, I still drive the same car that I bought as a pre-tenure professor. The title of my talk is Reimagination of Opacity and Transparency. Many of you know that I have designed with and written about glass in architecture. My longstanding mentor, James Carpenter, cannot be here today, but I am indebted to him for opening me up to the world of glass. As you might expect, the word transparency references the material glass, but there is more. As scholars and educators, we illuminate the aspects of architecture that often remain understudied. We critically study well-known works of architecture through different lenses to uncover different interpretations. In other words, we bring transparency to something that is opaque, or at times argue that something that appears transparent is in fact an opaque enigma. I will share stories from 3 of my current research projects that have taken turns since I arrived at WashU 15 months ago. One is on the glass and the resources required for glass buildings. Another focuses on the Nakagin Capsule Tower in Tokyo, the recently demolished iconic work of architecture, and the questions of preservation, maintenance, and societal ideals surrounding this building. Lastly, I will talk about drawings by Japanese-American artist Mine Okubo, who made drawings of internment camps during World War II, and the Japanese-American diaspora as it relates to the architecture in St. Louis and WashU. Glass is resistant to deterioration, brittle, and transparent. Due to these rare qualities, glass often appears in fantasies and fairy tales. A material imbued with idealism and utopic vision, glass has captured architects' imagination for centuries. In recent decades, specifically around the time that I was in school and the decade that followed, architecture witnessed an emergence of technological advancement in chemical coating, structural engineering, and fabrication methods that have altered physical properties and perception of glass architecture. Following 17 years of practice in New York City, I entered a tenure-track position, which gave me opportunities to contextualize glass architecture within the larger discourse in history, materials, and technology. In my 2020 book, Blurred Transparencies, I examined 6 glass buildings from early modern to contemporary that challenge assumptions about glass and examine cultural meanings associated with the material. More recently, I began to question why we know very little about where the raw materials for glass come from. While we can go to a local hardware store or even big box stores and find bags of cement that comes from an adjacent county or buy lumber from a local sawmill, we don't ask for local glass. The process by which sand becomes sheets of glass is often far from transparent. The sand, which makes up over 70% of glass, could come from a faraway riverbed, lakeshore, or an inland stone outcrop. Sand with at least 95% silica content is called silica sand, and only the purest is suitable for architectural glass production. In the past few decades, low iron glass, known for its colorlessness, has become the desirable choice, even for shower enclosures. The glass appears to disappear. Low iron glass is made from ultra-pure sand that is low in iron oxide, which causes the green tint seen in ordinary glass. This type of glass, which has been popularized by Apple's flagship stores and luxury towers around the world, require 99% pure silica sand, which is even more limited. In the US, this type of sand is found in a few locations, primarily in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Missouri, where sand as white and fine as sugar, thus called saccharoidal, is mined from St. Peter sandstone. In St. Louis, this 99% pure silica sand is found in a former St. Peter sandstone mine, which is now Klondike Park in St. Charles County, less than an hour away from here. And thanks to Dan Jammer, the director of WashU Center for Environment, for telling me about this park. This lake was 85 feet below what used to be the ground before mining began. The sand was shipped to glass factories across the Midwest from here. Crystal Plate Glass Company was located near another sand mine in Crystal City, Missouri, which at the time was one of the largest plate glass plants in the US. Glass production is energy intensive and costly to maintain. To bring sand to its molten state, a furnace must be heated to 2,700 degrees for as long as 50 hours. Once heated to that temperature, the furnace runs 24/7 and is rarely shut down. As a result, glass production has become centralized in a handful of locations across the country. For instance, Pilkington has 5 and Vitro has 4. Small local plants have been shuttered, including the Crystal City plant, which closed in 1990. So even in the recent past, there were smaller local plants. Now sand travels long distance to become architectural glass panels. Once sand turns into glass sheets, they often travel across continents, from the production factory to fabrication plant, and finally to the construction site. Jumbo panels are not only more difficult to transport, but also require specialized tools and skilled labor, which may not be available locally. Increasing demand for glass that is colorless, extra large, and seamless contributes to glass sustainability problem. Besides, although glass is touted as infinitely recyclable, only 6% of architectural glass is downcycled into glass products that require less purity and precision, and almost none is recycled into architectural glass. The rest end up in landfills. The exclusivity and mystery associated with glass is not new. From the 11th to the 16th centuries, the secrets of glassmaking were protected by the Venetians until 3 glassmakers were smuggled out by the French, who applied the technology to create the Palace of Versailles Hall of Mirrors. Venice became the center for glass production, largely due to its strategic location for importing raw materials and production know-how, and exporting coveted glass objects. Venice was an otherwise unlikely location for glass making. Neither the primary material of sand and soda ash nor the firewood for the medieval Venetian glassmakers were found in the city's immediate vicinity. They were transported from the riverbeds in Switzerland and Austria to Venice. Soda ash was brought from Syria and Egypt. So for centuries, glass production has a long history of not being local, requiring long-distance travel and exclusive production know-how and facilities. While stone, lumber, and bricks leave traces of its origins, glass leaves no visual links to its natural resources. Glass transparency renders its production opaque. My research is situated at the convergence of glass in architecture, natural resources needed to produce it, and the cultural meanings and values associated with the material, all of which impacts our glass consumption. By better understanding the reasons why glass remains desirable, and by bringing awareness to the environmental impact of building with glass, we can question our prevailing practices and seek more sustainable and alternative futures with glass. In addition to studying material extraction, I continue to work with artists and writers to reimagine glass both as a material and metaphor. On November 20th at Bard College, I will participate in the reading and launch of the book, The Glass Mosque, with Pakistani-American MacArthur Fellow artist Shazia Sikandar. Shazia and the book editor Yasmin Siddiqui asked writers, artists, architects, and musicians to engage with the phrase glass mosque as a concept. In my chapter titled To Contain and to Scatter the Glass Mosque, I posit that the glass mosque is a place where the Islamic diaspora finds their own collective and multivalent identities. Glass is an apt metaphor for the diaspora, a word which in Greek means scatter. Reading of glass is not a binary limited to transparent or opaque, but varied, depending on surrounding light conditions and the point of view relative to the glass. A glass building can appear monolithic and opaque on bright day when the glass reflects the surrounding environment like a mirror, whereas at dusk, the glass begins to dematerialize as the sun sets, drawing attention to the illuminated interior beyond the glass. In other words, transparency is mutable and relative. The glass mosque then suggests a space that resists the essentialization of Islamic people and embraces multiplicity of meanings and narratives. I am excited to explore this concept further with other panelists in November. And the second project is I am interested in the life of a building, how it ages and adapts in relation to the evolving societal values and natural forces, as well as the lives that take place within it. Some buildings continue to spur architectural discourse even after they are demolished. The Nakagin Capsule Tower, designed by Kisho Kurokawa and built in Tokyo in 1972, is such building. The building is the focus of the current exhibition, The Many Lives of Nakagin Capsule Tower at the MoMA in New York City. And my scholarship is cited in the exhibition publication, and the curators and I are currently discussing possible public programming in the coming months. As Carmen said, I was born and raised in Tokyo during the economic boom of the 1970s and witnessed the rise and fall of both the economy and this iconic building. During this period of exponential growth, this building was built to accommodate the elite salarymen who would spend their nights in a 108 square foot capsule away from their suburban homes. In 2014, I rented Capsule B907 on Airbnb from someone who said they had been active in the preservation movement for the tower. Since then, I have written several papers, chapters, and articles on this building. Each time, I uncover unseen dimensions and alter my position on the work, sometimes contradicting my prior assertions. The Nakagin Capsule Tower opened in 1972 as one of a few built works by the Metabolists, a group of avant-garde Japanese architects who sought to develop a mode of non-Western modern architecture, basing their vision on Japanese ideals of constant renewal and eternal adaptation. In the metabolist spirit of continual growth, the architect designed the Nakagin Capsule Tower with a plan for its individual living units to be replaced every 25 to 35 years, while its concrete cores were estimated to last for more than 60 years. Over 50 years since the tower's completion, none of the capsules had ever been replaced, and the building suffered from significant structural and cosmetic deterioration. Back in 2014, when I rented the unit, I had been following the controversy over the tower's fate, which was at the time still up for debate, and found the argument for its demolition as compelling as those for its preservation as a cultural monument. Photographs such as these images show units left to decay from water damage and neglect, while others diligently repaired and maintained by their owners. I was struck by this disparity between the building's futuristic aspirations and aesthetics and the nostalgia that surrounded the preservation movement. As with most works of modern architecture, the Nakagin Capsule Tower has been iconized through the highly stylized photographs that were taken at the time of its completion. For nearly its first 4 decades, the tower was publicized globally through these images from the 1970s, when it stood as the tallest building in the neighborhood that were still populated with pre-war wooden low-rise buildings. It was only decades later, around 2010, that images of deteriorating capsules began to alarm the architecture community worldwide. In my 2022 essay, Obsolescent Masculinity, I posit that at time of its demolition, the building had reached obsolescence both culturally and physically. The Japanese masculinity of the 1970s emanate from the tower's original sales brochures published by its developer, Nakagin, and the promotional videos produced by Taisei Construction Company. The video shows the architects wearing pressed business suit with cigarettes in their hands, presenting their visionary ideas of capsule living and novel construction methods of precast concrete panels and metal capsules. The Nakagin Capsule Tower is an embodiment of the far-reaching aspirations and utopic visions of Japanese men of this era, which have yet to return since the economic bubble began to burst in the 1980s. Along with the fading ambitions and confidence of men who built it and were its target market, the tower has heavily deteriorated both physically and symbolically. I'll play this just a little bit more until he gets into the unit. Textbooks and monographs can only offer limited perspectives into life of a building and the lives within it, especially over a duration of time. The Nakagin Capsule Tower is one example in which firsthand experience, photographs by residents, and interviews have uncovered hidden dimensions of one of the most recognized buildings of modernism. The next story from my research is also a lesson in understanding spaces and their impacts on people through the lens of the inhabitants. Between 1942 and 44, the Japanese American artist Mine Okubo documented the lives of those incarcerated during World War II at the internment camps in Tanforan Racetrack outside of San Francisco and Topaz in Utah. Her drawings capture the shock, humiliation, and loss experienced by over 110,000 American citizens of Japanese descent incarcerated by their own government. They demonstrate how the government used buildings and landscapes to dehumanize and control them in the name of national security. In 1946, she compiled nearly 200 drawings from the camps and published the illustrated memoir Citizen 13660. Titled after the number that the government assigned to her. While other artists such as Dorothea Lange and Ansel Adams also documented the lives inside of internment camps, and the activist George Takei has published illustrated books about his internment experience, Citizen 13660 stands out. What distinguishes the book are Okubo's insider perspective of an imprisoned person, that she made the drawings on site during internment, and the ways in which she instrumentalized the book to argue for reparation and bring awareness to aspects of our history that have been silent and unseen. Adams' photographs reinforce the frontier rhetoric of the splendid American Western landscape and the pioneer lifestyle, thus distorting public perception of mass incarceration. While most subjects are men, about a quarter of his photographs were of schoolgirls. The images show the girls smiling, dressed in feminine American style. Such innocent, submissive bodies of young Japanese American schoolgirls portrayed by Adams contrast Okubo's drawings that imbue rebellion and resistance. Okubo's drawings mirror what W.E.B. Du Bois calls double consciousness through the eyes of a Japanese American internee and the gaze of her friends outside the camp. As she writes in the preface to the 1983 edition of her book, quote, Citizen 13660 began as a special group of drawings made to tell the story of camp life for my many friends who faithfully sent letters and packages to let us know we were not forgotten. The drawings reflect a double vision of the artist herself, situated in the drawings with a sketchbook and a pencil in hand. She stands as a historic witness to this absurdity and to the sadness of imprisonment. She depicts architecture of the racetracks and barracks not only as instruments of discipline and surveillance by the US government, but also a means to strip human dignity. In 1981, she presented the book in a testimony before the US Commission on Wartime Relocation and Internment of Civilians, demanding apology and reparation for all interned and stressing the need to educate the younger generations about the internment. Citizen 13660 continued to teach students about the injustice that often escapes our collective memory. serving as, in the words of American theorist and social critic Bell Hooks, a form of transgression, a practice of freedom. These stories of the Japanese diaspora are not only of the Western US, but also of St. Louis and WashU. My friends have asked, now that I am here and we even have a provost who teaches Japanese law in fluent Japanese, what connections the university has to Japan. And there are some connections that I think are unusual, especially in the Midwest. During the period of Japanese-American internment, universities on the West Coast forbid enrollment of Japanese-American students, including a student at University of California, Berkeley, named Gyo Obata. WashU admitted dozens of evacuees, including Obata and 3 other Japanese-American architecture students who would go on to have remarkable careers. And I should mention this was a focus of the symposium and exhibition organized by Heidi Kolk and Kelly Murphy at the samfoxschool in 2023, which I attended before I took this position or applied for this position. Obata became a founding partner of the St. Louis-based global architecture firm HOK. His father, Chiura Obata, was an accomplished painter who came from Japan and served on faculty at Berkeley. Everyone in Obata family, apart from Gyo, were sent to internment at Tanforan, then to Topaz, the same places as Mineo Okubo. In Topaz, Chiura Obata founded the Topaz Art School, where alongside Okubo and other artists from the Bay Area, he taught over 600 internees. Today, I am honored to be joined by Gyo's daughter, Kiku Obata. I saw her, she's somewhere here. Oh, over there, okay. Kiku Obata, who is a partner of her design practice here in St. Louis. Another Japanese figure who made their mark in St. Louis, of course, is the Pritzker Prize laureate Fumihiko Maki, who designed 3 buildings on the WashU campus, including the one that we are in now, the Steinberg Hall. He was hired under Dean Joseph Passanow in 1956, co-founded the urban design program, and designed Steinberg Hall. He served on the faculty until 1962 when he returned to Tokyo. While there were multiple reasons that attracted me to WashU, these unsuspected connections to Japan in a place not on the coasts where one might expect them have given me a sense of belonging and connected me to my first home of Japan. An inclusive environment takes time to build, and I have found that WashU has a long history of it. As with any institution, however, our culture too is a work in progress, work to which I am committed. To draw this to a conclusion, I will return to glass, the material with which I began this address. I say with optimism that in design studios, lectures, seminars, and off-campus engagement, we will illuminate buildings and stories that warrant a critical study, bring transparency to what has been rendered opaque, and to challenge what may, at first glance, appear crystal clear. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing talk, Aki. Beautiful. And I think now everyone gets a better sense of all the connections that you have to WashU. You're also a Midwesterner, you know, so. Truly, that was outstanding, and I want to thank you, and also to just say once again that I feel so fortunate to work with you. It's been a pleasure. I've really said many times, you know, Aki has come into the school and taken on the role, and she's done it in such an amazing way. It seems seamless, and I see so many students here, so the first thing I really want to recognize is the students. Let's hear it for them that are here tonight. And I mean it when I say, Aki has been very committed to the faculty and the students, and I know that you're going to do amazing things here at WashU. And I think on occasions like this, it's also nice to think about inspiring the idea that your best work is ahead of you now with your new Sam and Marilyn Fox professorship. I know that you didn't get a chance to meet Sam and Marilyn, but they would have also just been really proud that you're holding this very important professorship. One more time, I'd like to really hear it for Aki Ishida and the amazing work she's doing. Fantastic. And again, I want to thank Jeff Fox and the entire Fox family for their generosity, vision, and ongoing support. This has been the honor of my life to be the dean of the Sam Fox School. Some of you know this is my 20th year, and this year I will, at the end of the year, transition into another role as we recruit the new dean of the Sam Fox School. It's truly been an amazing experience, and I could not imagine doing it without your parents and all the support that they've given, not only their name, but really one of the things that I could say here that your dad would have agreed with is that one of the most important things that you do is to hire great people that carry on the legacy. Aki will certainly do that. Jeff, you are also doing that here at the university, working on the Board of Trustees and working with Andrew. So I just want to acknowledge that, how much it means to me that you've been such a great friend to me in this time, and I love you. So thank you. Now the party begins, so we are all going to have a nice reception in the Mildred Lane Kemper Art Museum. The Making the Mark shows up. We'll be able to celebrate with Aki, and you'll be able to share your thoughts with her. And again, I want to thank Chancellor Martin for hosting us, and also now I'm going to ask Aki's family and friends and Jeff to stay just a little while to take some photographs. Otherwise, we'll see you in the Mildred Lane Kemper Art Museum. And thank you for coming this afternoon.